Salam. Today's lecture is regarding the hijab, modesty, sex of Muslim women and the Quran. So, this lecture I have been prepared upon the request of our viewers. After this, then I will give another lecture about the inheritance, Islamic inheritance law, and why they robbed of their daughters as compared to a son. So libido, the desire, libido means the desire of a sex is often condemned by religion as sinful. All the religion, they consider it as a sinful. And what they are doing behind the scene, that is a different thing. Because they want to control the woman through this, through the sex, denying it. But suppressing sexual energy does not just eliminate the pleasures. What they are doing, suppressing it is not only prayer, it disconnects us from ourselves. It's a very strong force. It is a very strong attractive force. It leads to anxiety, numbness, and a search for external distractions. If you suppress it, we have anxiety, distraction. Sexual energy is sacred. It is a gateway to creativity, vitality, and higher consciousness. If we have a sexually balanced system in any society, the creativity will enhance. It's a main source of reproduction. So it is a gateway to creativity, vitality, and higher consciousness. Repressing it through religion, guilt, dims not just desire, but the fire of love itself. All these religious people, they are very backward, their behavior is very unique. They don't want to talk to the people because they are saying that we are offering prayer, we are a selected one. So this energy is not just about sex, it is about the union. We have attraction to each other between body and mind, masculine and feminine, shadow and light of the self. It's a, it's a great energy. Now, let me, what these three religions they are saying about the hijab. So hijab, why I give this in definition? Because it is related to hijab in religion. In Corinthians 11:4-7, the Bible states that women must cover their heads while praying. So this is same Muslim and the biblical. At this level, they are same. So this means this cover or hijab or parda has come from Bible. It is there in mentioned religious people. Also, rabbinic literature also considered the Jew wearing a symbol of modesty. So modesty or control the sex, they invented the hijab. In Christianity, veiling is a mandatory for nuns, just like our women in the mosque they are mandatory for them to have the veil or cover or parda, indicating rank. In Christianity, so they have different kind of this veil. White veil means trainees who have not taken vows of chastity. So they take the vow from them that we will not utilize your chastity. So it means you will not involve in any sexual relation. So these, if you go to any church, so white veil means this. Black veil, fully committed nuns with vows taken. Now, here in white, it is starred. It's not a, committed this vow, but now the black means that she has committed that she will not involve in any sex, or she will preserve her chastity. Styles vary from covenant, whatever the covenant taken from the nuns during their education, such as the crown worn by the daughters of charity, or the blue and white handscarf of Mother Teresa's missionaries of charity. The wheel symbolizes modesty, subservience, uniformity, and inferiority to man. So this is the main problem, inferiority to man. So this is Christian, hijab or veil or parda. Historically, Roman Vestal virgins were head covered as a priestesses. In Hindu culture, women observe veiling through gungat. In ancient Mesopotamian, Greece, Persia, and Byzantine, veil denoted decency and social rank. Same. It's the same as in the Bible. Slaves and prostitutes were forbidden to veil. They cannot cover themselves. Male and female slave or prostitution. Reinforcing the veil as a sign of respectability and class distinction. So they don't have any respect for slave or prostitution. Now hijab in Islam. Muslim women wear the hijab as an expression of modesty and faith and to showing inferior than men in rank. Same thing what is in the Christianity. The call to prayer azan does not require them to cover, but if you are in praying Friday prayer or Eid prayer, so when the azan started, so women start covering their head with their dupatta or with their chadar, whatever it is. But some may choose to adjust their hijab during it, especially in public or before praying. However, this is a personal choice, not a religious obligation tied to azan. It is up to the woman when it's given. In history of the Arabs, Phillips K. Hitti notes how Arab conquerors were influenced by the Byzantine civilization, adopting many of its customs, including the treatment of the woman. So this is they have taken from Byzantine civilization. Parda, seclusion and veiling was part of Byzantine culture, not originally Islamic. So this has come from them. From Christianity, from Byzantine civilization. According to the Islamic priesthood, Islamic literature, early Muslims like Khadija, Hind, and Aisha were free to choose their spouses and engage in trade and even lead in battle. But Quran does not talk about any Khatija, Hinda, Aisha, nothing. It is Islamic literature. The Quran does not mention the hijab as a mandatory, nor does it prescribe veiling as a societal norm or mode of modesty. Quran does not talk anything about it. Veiling became widespread under the Ottoman rule as a symbol of rank and privilege. So this disease has been come from Ottoman Empire. It was later reinforced by the Muslim Caliph and their allied religious authorities. Then all this came with the collaboration of the religious people, they developed it, not by the Quran itself. These rulers, with the help of their puppet religious scholars, used the non-Quranic hijab to suppress women liberation. Actually, it is slavery for women in all Arab, Pennsylvania. All these Arab women, they are under the slavery of the hijab. While they themselves indulge in polygamy and unrestricted sexual desire. They can have how many women they want. This King Abdulaziz, the founder or the puppet of the British, founder of this so-called Makkah, he had married to 100 women. And all their now dynasties, there are so many women, legal and illegal. In doing so, they committed not only sexual injustice, but also emotionally creative and spiritual oppression for women. I know some women in Saudi Arabia, they were married, these women were married, and years of years their husbands were not coming to them. And in Saudi Arabia people, the rich people, they have one wife in Turkey, one wife in Morocco, one wife in other countries, so they are enjoying. Caliph Harun al-Rashid of the Abbasid dynasty, whose reign is often regarded as the golden period of Islamic civilization. All these agree that the real Islam was in the era of Harun al-Rashid. Had the customary 4 wives, they blame the Quran, but in the Quran there is no 4 wives. However, he also maintained a harem of 2,996 concubines from various regions of the world to provide him comfort and companionship during the night. So this was the Khalifa Harun-Rashid, whom our Islamic priesthood, they are saying the golden era of Harun-Rashid. He brought these women from all over the area, from Sudan, from Europe, from Tunis, from Turkey. He had all kind of to satisfy him. His son, Al-Mutawakkil Billah, reputed as one of the greatest womanizer of all time, surpassed his father by adding 500 more women to his personal heart. His son. Same thing happening in Saudi Arabia and all these Arab dynasties. Remarkably, the son of Al-Mutawakkil and grandson of Harun-Rashid took a different turn. He expelled, that the grandson of Harun-Rashid, he expelled all the women from the harems of his father and grandfather, and he replaced them with handsome transgender and young boys from across the world. Just like what Maulana Rumi was doing. He was bisexual. Sources. This is I have taken what happened with Islam by Ahmad Amir Misri, Urdu translation by Maulana Umar Ahmad Usmani. I have given the page number. Now, Imam Hussain, the eldest son of the fourth Caliph, Ali, did not possess the financial capacity to maintain thousands of women. However, according to the well-known Shia source, Khilafat Mawiyatul Yazid by Muhammad Ahmad Abbasi in 1962. This book, he was a Shia, but he made the research, Khilafat Mawiyatul Aziz. So it took 10 years to publish this book because the Shia cleric, they challenged this book into the court. And after 10 years, it was released. At that time, Pakistan Justice Department, they were honest people. 10 years. I have this book. He reportedly devised a strategy to fulfill his desire economically. He would marry a woman in the evening, enjoy intimacy through the night, and divorce her in the next morning. So this is I have given you some introduction. Why? Because this will, all the religions, they control the sex. But inner side, what they are doing, I have given you detail. It was during the Abbasid era that hijab custom began to take hold. Caliph Harun Rashid and Imam Hassan are noted to have enforced veiling upon their wives. They don't allow their four wives without veil or without hijab. Not out of religious obligation, but to reflect aristocratic status, modesty, and to distinguish respectable women from those considered public or lower class. So now you can watch all the wives of this UAE, Saudi Arabia, they are wearing the hijab. Ironically, concubines, slaves, prostitutes, and dancing girls imported from different parts of the world, Khalifa al-Rashid was doing it, were forbidden from wearing the hijab. They are not. It is a necessity for them. Only for those women, the four wives, they are compulsory. But for these concubines, slave, prostitution, dancing girls, they are not allowed. If they did, they would be met with the harsh punishment. And he was also, I didn't mention over here, this Khalifa al-Rashid also took all these dancing girls or prostitutes to perform the Hajj and Umrah to Makkah. The same Ahmad al-Amin Misri, he mentioned it, but I did not mention because this is not our subject. So this is the reason they have invented this hijab to distinguish themselves from the other women of the society. And now it has become culture. Almost every woman in Arab countries, she is wearing a hijab because she considers that she is inferior than men. Today, similar condition exists in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, where the numerous wives of royal family members strictly observe Sharia-based hijab laws, symbolizing both modesty and noble rank. In countries like Iran, Afghanistan, Yemen, Gaza, Palestine, and province of Indonesia, hijab are full coverings such as a niqab, burqa, or parda are mandatory for all women under Sharia law. Even though no such commandment exists in the Quran. So this is all non-Quranic. If they have any evidence, give me the verse. Prior to the rise of crown of Prince Muhammad bin Sulaiman, it was nearly impossible for any woman, Muslim or non-Muslim, to appear in public without hijab in Saudi Arabia. And I am witness of that. I could not take my family without hijab. And no woman can walk alone or can go alone into the market. 10, 20 cars will follow them. This happened in front of me. So they depress the woman. You know, if one woman is going on the footpath walking, 10, 20 cars stop over there. This I have seen. Those who did were subjected to humiliation by the religious police, Matawa. They are, I have seen this Egyptian woman, they spray the color on their legs because these legs are why they are naked in front of me. The founder of the Wahhabi sect, he acted much like Haman, the grand mufti of the Fura dynasty, serving the Saudi monarchy and reaping massive rewards, including control of religious affairs and financial policy. They are all sold. Give them money, they are okay. Hijab, as enforced by Sharia authorities, become a political and cultural tool, not a Quranic command. The true test of the authenticity must come from the Quran itself. Give me one verse from the Quran. What the hell they are doing? When evaluated through this lens, the widespread practice of hijab appears to be the rooted more in man-made tradition and patriarchal control than divine guidance. Quran analysis of the term hijab. Now let us take the real subject. They use the name of Quran for hijab. Now it is the time to check the meaning of the term hijab. What is the meaning of this? First of all, you must know the language. Quranic lexicon. The term hijab signifies he prevented or debarred or hindered or isolation or veiled or concealed, hide or covered or protected him or intervened him or partitioned. This is the main in the Quranic Arabic language, not this Arab language, Quranic Arabic language. Hajib, doorkeeper or chamberlain, the gatekeeper on the house. The Quran has used the word hijab in the following verses in different shade and meaning. The term bainahuma hijabun means barrier between the reformer group of the people and their opponents. 746. So there is a hijab, the barrier between the people who are working for peace and the people who are evil and devils. This is a word Quran has used in verse 7, 46 and 41. Why? Then, in the notion of backdoor meditator, during the question and answer section of the Quranic lecture and discourses. Then, covering the truth, 38, 32. behind screen or backdoor communication. Some government, there is a first face-to-face meeting or the messenger, way, and there is some discussion, backdoor discussion. That is also Quran used. 42:51. وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا وَحْيًا أَوْ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ أَوْ يُرْسِلَ رَسُولًا فَيُوحِيَ بِإِذْنِهِ مَا يَشَاءُ إِنَّهُ عَلَىٰ حَكِيمٌ. So this means during the active program or the broadcasting, so the lawgiver talked through three ways: vahiyya, communication, أو من وراء backdoor, or يرسل رسول, or send the messenger, فأيها بإذنه, from his order, ما يشاء إنه على حكيم. So this is the three. وما كان لبشر أن يكلم الله. Direct communication. Bashar, Basharat. Then, invisible curtain between the minds of those people who do not listen to the message of the Quran. 1745 Hijab. They don't want to. Because they put the barrier in their mind that we will not listen to the Quran. Now we have 2.5 billion Muslims. They have created the invisible curtain between the minds, in their minds against the Quran. وَإِذَا قَرَأْتُمُ الْقُرْآنَ جَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ حِجَابًا مَسْتُورًا. They don't want to listen to the Quran. All the mosques, all the imam, all the religious leaders, hijaban mastura, to isolate oneself from his or nation, so they are no longer in sight of their soul. To create a barrier of a such is to separate himself or herself from anything. So they don't want to have any relation with. They don't want to listen to the Quran. Hijaban mastura. La yu'minuna. They will not agree with you. Bil akhirata. By the end, whatever discussion you want to do, eventually they will not listen because they put the barrier in their minds against the education of the Quran. So let me give you this one very important verse. In this verse, all the thousands of translation volume from the 1400 years, they are insulting the woman by giving the corrupt translation of this verse. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تدخلوا البيوت النبي إلا أن يؤذن لكم إلى طعام غير ناظرين إنه ولكم إذا دعيتم فادخلوا فإذا طمعتم فانتشروا ولا مستأنسين للحديث إن ذلكم كان يؤذي النبي ويستحيي منكم والله لا يستحيي من الحق وإذا سألتموهن متاعا فاسألوهن من وراء حجاب. This is hijab over here. ذلكم أطهر لقلوبكم وقلوبهن وما كان لكم إن تؤذوا الرسول الله ولا تنكحوا أزواجه من بعد أبدا إن ذلكم كان عند الله عظيم. So let me give the translation first by all these translators. So I have selected Yusuf Ali. O you who believe, enter into the Prophet houses. So it means Prophet has so many houses. He was a capitalist. Until leave is given you for a meal, and then not so early as to wait for its preparation. But when you are invited, enter, and when you have been taken your meal, disperse without seeking familiar talk. Such behavior annoys the Prophet. So it looks like that people come in the Prophet house and they were waiting when we will have the food and then they will. So this is the translation of this. And then, and it is not right for you that you should honor Allah Messenger, not that you should ever marry his wives. Not only eating, but you should not marry his wives. It means they have no character. How many wives Prophet had? This is a translation. This is immoral, education of the religion against the Quran. After him, his death. It's insult. If Prophet has been passed away, then any person can marry her, his wife. Verily, with Allah that shall be an enormity. So this is the word hijab has come in this verse. So that is the reason I have selected. Let us clear the minds of women, our honorable equals, not inferior beings, by exposing the truth of this verse with an accurate, contextual, grammatical, and fearless translation, free from patriarchal distortion. Those who are active for peace, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, and participating in the supreme leadership discussion meetings, Bayutul Nabi, Naba, Quranic Information Center, Al Nabi, proper noun, the top class meeting of the leaders, Bayut, constitution meeting, constitution discussion, or Manshur, for the development of their intellect, ila tam. You have the ideas, you use, you think, it is tam. It means you are developing your intellect, your innate wisdom, you are increasing your intellectual. And the discussion is the main thing. Discussion develop all kind of intellectual level. But in our mosque, it is completely prohibited to discuss anything. You cannot ask them any question. But here what Quran is saying. Do not interrupt. La tadkhulu. The meeting is there. Wait. It's a top management meeting. And wait until you are invited. When you are given the chance, okay, now it is your turn, you can address. You can put forward your reasoning, your argument on the subject which is under discussion. So this is not about the wife or about the house of the Prophet. This is Bayutun Nabi, houses of the Prophet. La tadkhulu, don't interfere. And wait until you are invited. This is a respectable way. If there is any meeting, any person can come and start speaking. People will ask him, please wait. So this is the same thing. And they converted. Imam Tabari, all these Yusuf, all these translators of the Quran, they corrupted everything. That is what I'm saying. It's an unavoidability. It's a 300-degree against the Quranic education. And wait until you are invited. Ila an yuzanu, yuzan, azan, biznallah. Until and until you are not invited. You are not ordered, okay, go ahead and speak. And whenever you are invited for the strategic meeting, walakan azad itum dua. It is not a prayer. It is a decision. When the decision should be made, then you are invited. Strategic meeting. Then participate. Give your opinion. Do you think you are finding this in the mosque? There is one imam is sitting, he is taking $5,000-6,000. He gives a mumbo jumbo of the khutbah. And okay, you pay, she pray, everything, okay, go home. Finish. And this repetition is coming from century, and repetition brings never any result. Start discussion, even hadith, even fiqh, and the Quran. Within 1-2 years, all the fiqh, all the hadith will go. Quran is based on the argument. It's a debate book. So when you get the intellectual feedback or nourishment for the peaceful mission. So this is a result of the discussion that, okay, this is final decision. فَإِذَا تَمْتُمْ. With your argument, with your nourishment, intellectual level, feed them. Then broadcast or spread it into the public. فَانْتَشِرُوا. By radio, by email, by paper, by newspaper, by writing. فَانْتَشِرُوا. Okay, this decision has been taken by the Quranic tradition of the leader, the Quranic leader in this meeting. Tell to the people. Without involving socialization and chatting. Look, all these Fox TV, BBC, New York Times, Washington Post, and all other media, they are doing socialization. They will not give you any correct news. Wala mustanasin al-hadith. It does not mean you are sitting for the translation, that you are sitting for the food. This behavior become the cause of offense for your supreme leadership. Inna zalakum kana yuzul nabi. If you interfere during the discussion or you are making some wrong thing, this cause offense. It's a disrespectable and it's a normal thing. And if your leadership feels shyness in asking you not to be gossiping, the leader cannot say he's the father of the nation, Al-Nabi. If he feels shyness, that what I can say to them? They should mature. Shyness in asking not to be gossiping, but Allah's laws do not feel shyness in expressing truthfulness and justice. Wallahu la yastahi minul haq. This is a haq. You should not interfere in the discussion. When you are invited, then you can come and talk. And when you ask them for the financial funding, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُهُنَّ مَتَاعٌ, we need the funds. This inquiry, فَسَلُهُنَّ, hunna, man and woman, should be settled behind the screen without publicizing it. فَسَلُهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ. When you make the financial decision, do not lead the decision publicly. Whatever you want to contribute or whatever you want to allocate the funds for the different area or different project, so keep it in, hide it, not disclose it now. وَسَالُهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ. Make the barrier, don't take to the public now. Wait for the proper time. This is the best for the purification of your mind, and as well as their mind, you are dealing in this subject. ذَلِكُمْ أَطْهَرَ لَكُمْ لَقُلُوبِكُمْ وَالْقُلُوبِهُنَّ. Your mind and قُلُوبِهُنَّ, their mind, the people mind. If you will disclose, maybe other people will take the benefit. Now this colony is coming over here and the people will buy their land before that. It should not become the cause of annoyance to messenger or message of Allah. وَمَا كَانَ لَكُمْ إِنَّا تُؤْذُوا الرَّسُولَ. He becomes sick because of this behavior. Don't disclose anything. And after this, do not make any agreement with your groups or at any time. When you agree with this, then further, تَنْكُهُ أَزْوَاجَهُ, your companion, your buddy is not wife. Don't make any separate agreement with him. In ba'dihi abadan. Because this has been decided over here. Now you don't have right to make a separate agreement. Just like all the capitalism doing that. They show something to the public, but inside they do something else. And in accordance with Allah's law, it should be done constantly and continually. Inna zalikum kana andallahu azima. Carry on this. So this is the meaning of this verse. What Yusuf Ali did, what all the thousands of translations did, now first time you are getting the right translation. And you can make some improvement in that. I have provided you the framework, the fundamental things. Now our coming generation will come, they will be better than me. I'm not a religious leader. It's not my profession. I'm not wanting any paradise. I don't want to worship God. So I think better than me, our coming generation. But it will take time, 40 years, 100 years, because layer upon layer, this dust of the hadith, sunnah, tradition, and all the sect education, Sufism, it had destroyed the education of the Qur'an. So hijab is not from the Qur'an, it is a symbol of separation. My woman, sister, daughter, mother, they should listen it. And what is when you cover your head? So you are You know, you cannot take the fresh air. You have been divorced from the fresh air. And the fresh air is very important for the mind. The Quran, the highest authority in Islam, never uses the word hijab to mean veil, scarf, modesty, or shame for women because they want to control the woman. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Hinduism, and Buddhism also. Now, nowhere in the book of wisdom does Hajjah command a woman to cover her hair or hide her face. What is the Islam in Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan or other country where Indonesia, where the hijab is compulsory? It's not Islam, it's Islamabad. The religious people are controlling it. Instead, it refers to a barrier, separation, or partition, never address code. So, where did this veil come from? It was invented, fabricated by kings, sultans, and their court scholars to control women, to erase their presence, and to lock up half of society behind curtain of so-called modesty. These rulers weaponized religion to legitimize their dominance, while the clerics become their royal mouthpieces. What they enforced in the name of piety was never God's command. It was man-made suppression wrapped in the religious lies. The hijab, as enforced today, is not a sacred, it is immoral. It is a public declaration that women are inferior, that their bodies are a source of shame, and, and they must be hidden to protect the fragile ego of man. It is a sign of injustice, not faith. It suffocates not only the body but the mind, killing fresh thought, curiosity, and self expression in the name of honor. The Quran speaks directly and equally to women. It honors their intellect, affirms their spiritual agency, and never once called for them to wield or silence. To suggest otherwise is to slander the Quran itself. The real modesty of the Quran speaks of the inner character, not fabric over heads. Character, inner character, intelligence, wisdom thinking. That is a character. It is a time long overdue for Muslim women to rise not in rebellion against Islam, but in defense of it against those who have hijacked it. It is a time to tear down the mental and cultural cages to stop fearing outdated custom passed down from kingdoms and clerics who never knew the Quran and never wanted you to read it with your own mind. Muslim women must not live in fear. They must not live in inherited ignorance. They must not accept change gifted to them by dynasties and disused as a divine. The hijab, as properly understood today, it is not a shield, it is a shroud over reason, identity, and freedom. Let the Ummah wake up. Let women reclaim the book. Let critical thought replace blind imitation because only through authentic knowledge of the Quran, not heresy, not tradition, can this confused and oppressed community find dignity again. So this is the meaning of hijab. So our women, honorable women, they should not accept any hijab. Yes, you can follow modesty by your thinking, by your mind. It's a I is responsible, what Quran is saying. In other words, the I is responsible. You can distinguish the bad looking, the good looking, the love looking. This message sent to mind. These two lenses, they are responsible for the modesty, for the character, not hijab. Thank you very much.